Good evening, everybody, and welcome back into the Dragon's Den. Digital Dragon, 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch and YouTube, a store owner here in Sanford, North Carolina, and just an all-around tinkerer. Hope everyone's having a great day today. Been a busy couple of days. I apologize for not being on and streaming. I feel like I'm saying that a lot more these days, but we've got quite a lot going on with my day job, which is bleeding into the night job. And, just been pretty busy here around the shop. So I hope everyone's having a great week and that we continue to have good weeks. So this evening is, I was thinking, all right, let's work on the Unimog. We still have the cargo carrier and stuff to put over the cab that I wanted to do. But I realized that in pulling out the screws that I'm going to need, that we're going to use a lot of M2x8s and a lot of M2x10s, and they're almost gone again. So I just ordered a couple hundred more of each of those two sizes so that we can sorry about that, so that we can go ahead and work on that in one shot. They should be here Thursday, so if we stream Thursday night, provided things do not go any more sideways than they did today, we will be streaming Thursday night and we should be able to put that stuff together. For those of you that are in the local area, Friday afternoon, if everything goes well with UPS and the weather, we'll be receiving our shipment of FlashForge Creator 5 and Creator 5 Pros. This is the FlashForge 4-head tool changers, 256 millimeter cube build volume. So those should be here on Friday, which means Saturday we should be able to open one of those up on stream for the shop. So, and who knows, it may be an impromptu Saturday morning stream. Just saying. But yeah, like I said, hope everyone's doing well today. We've got a few projects that we're working on around here at the shop. We had a customer's Bambu Lab X2D that came in. There's some issues with the alignment of a couple of the wipers. Unfortunately, if that wiper at the poop chute has somehow slid down a little bit, you actually have to take the entire back off the machine in order to get to the screws to raise it up, which kind of sucks. But meanwhile, we did take apart the tool head and replace the extruder gears at his request. So we did that earlier throughout the day between meetings, and more meetings. We got a Voron 2.4 that came back in. This is, I say came back in because this is one from Epax 3D, one of their test machines that they use to test out new filaments and stuff and print, display units for their different filament types. So I've got to get that online and check it out and just see what may be causing a thermal runaway error. Chances are it's just something in the tool head. I may just, quite honestly, swap the tool head out to something that's one, easier to work on than a stealth burner, and two, something a little bit better than what's in it. And then the other option for tonight is we brought the original 0G Mercury 1 Nebula build that I did. This was done several years ago and made its debut at MRF 23 or 24. 2024, I believe. So it's been a little while, or a couple of years. Maybe it was 2023. But anyhow, the acrylic is pretty janky on it. I cut it myself. It's pretty jank, and it's crazed in a lot of areas, damaged, so I just needed to replace the acrylic. I toyed around with the idea of tearing it apart and redoing the Z-axis and the tool head like we did the larger Zero-G Mercury 1, because I do have another full set of all metal gantry parts and bed arms. I don't think I want to do that. I think I just want to stay true, replace the acrylic, possibly, probably, and most likely rebuild the tool head and update it to the latest tool head design, and just, we'll say, upgrade the tool head, because I'm sitting here looking at it. It's got an Orbiter 2 with a filament runout sensor, which I love. But it's also running a E3D Revo with a BL Touch. So that one needs to get a little bit of update to it. I've got plenty of hot ends over here that I can choose from. And we can probably throw a cartographer or a beacon probe on it, because I know I have a Beacon Rev D and I know I have a cartographer over here. So we can we can make some updates to that. The other thing that I have that we can do is sitting right over here underneath the work table that we built the rat rig on for a bit nuts, is a idea maker or idea former. Hold on, let me make sure I'm reading this right. It is an idea former IR3V2. So that is an idea former belt printer. And the interesting thing with that belt printer is it's a spring steel PEI coated belt. So it's not the standard like rubberized belt that a lot of them use. So we have multiple projects that we can work on tonight. See, I believe I am live. Yes, I am live. I do appear to be live. But I don't have anybody in either Twitch chat or YouTube at the moment. So not sure who all is live and active. But I think what we can work on then, at least until people come in and see what's going on and get a better idea, is we'll go over, I'll move the Zero-G Mercury over to the table so that we can go ahead and start working on the panels. I want to take the panels off, and while they're off, that'll make it a lot easier to get work on the tool head. But we can take the panels off and maybe power things up. It hasn't been turned on in a while. Probably got a lot of updates that we need to work on. And we can go ahead and jump out online and see what kind of tool heads we can throw on it now. So let me grab that. We'll move it over to the other side, and we'll switch camera views. Okay. Let's see here. Pinch side. There we go. This is the 0G Mercury 1. This is a, whatchamacallit, a pro size, right? So this is not the big one. This is one of the smaller units. And this is what I was talking about with the crazing. This happens with the cheaper acrylic sheets. And in this case, it's cheap acrylic sheets and isopropyl alcohol will actually damage these. So that's the issue that we're dealing with right here. Let me flip this around so I'll be able to see chat and see when people pop in. Speaking of which, nope, thought somebody had popped in, but no. Yeah, so we're going to work on just taking all the door panels off, or taking the door panel off, taking all the other panels off. Pretty easy, pretty simple. When we go to put it back on, I may wind up doing what we've done in the past and, let me see, there we go. Go with the clips like we used on the Voron instead of these. So the just twist click locks. Okay, I'm thinking that I did these with standard nuts, and I did not. I did these with roll-in T-nuts. Yeah, and so I think what I did when I originally cut these is I just cut them a little bit oversized, and I need to probably take them and cut, I don't know, an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch off each, off two sides, and they would fit a lot better. But between using cheap acrylic and just having them on there for a couple of years, it's about time to swap them out and put some nicer panels on them anyhow. And thanks to my folks over at KB3D, I did get a set of panels for it, so might as well take advantage of that. And who knows, with properly sized panels, then these clips will all work and go right back into the same place. Hey, Down Under Maker, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're just chilling out. So this is my, this is a 0G Mercury 1. This is built on a Ender 5 Pro size, so the standard, 235 by 235. And for this particular build, this was a beta of the Nebula frame. And so I had done the acrylic on here, just cut it myself quickly to get it to Midwest Rep Rap Festival. And let's just say that one, I didn't account for tolerances, so it all kinds of bows out a little bit. And then two, it was cheap acrylic, so like the whole front panel here, it's kind of hard to see, but this is all crazed up from, just having isopropyl alcohol and stuff near it. So I've got some nice panels that we'll put on it, and I think while we have it off, I was debating whether I rebuilt it with the all metal gantry, 9mm belts and everything like we did Magenta Rising. But the more I think about it, I think I just want to possibly rebuild the tool head and get rid of the E3D Revo and go with something a little bit nicer and newer, and get rid of the BL Touch and maybe put a Beacon Rev D or a Beacon, or I'm sorry, not a Beacon, but a cartographer on it. But right now I'm just removing these panels. I think the more I think about it, I don't want to get into a heavy project or rebuild. I've got a customer 2.4 over there I need to work on. Hey, Mad Dog Jeff, how's it going? And I cannot read the other person, so give me half a second. Hey, Jim Macrobot, how's it going? Where was I? Oh, I do have a 2.4 over here I need to work on that I might be doing it. I think I'm just going to replace the tool head with something easier to work on. It's an old, I think, Formbot or FISEC kit is what it's based on. And I want to say originally it had a afterburner. The first time I worked on it, I switched it over to a stealth burner. And I think this time, now that we're revisiting it yet again, because it took a thermal error of some sort, I think I'm just going to convert it over to a Dragon burner, just to make that tool head a little bit easier to work on. But yeah, just some cheap acrylic here that we were using. Yay for people we know winning stuff in the Big Tree Tech prize draw. Who won in the prize draw? I think I saw Pete had won something recently, reprinted 3D. I saw that they posted stuff today. I didn't really see what it was. It has been a crazy, crazy day with meetings and stuff today. So one of the other reasons why I don't want to get too in deep on this particular project is because I did go ahead and order my Venture XL kit directly from FISEC. I was trying to get it in through Hector at Fabrico, but unfortunately his shipment got waylaid at customs, and I believe they said that it had gotten seized, and not sure why, but you know, we've been trying to get this printer for a couple of months, and we kind of need it for some jobs. So we just went ahead and ordered it directly from FISEC in hopes that it'll come in sooner rather than later. And like I said, this was based on the beta build. This printer was built, I think, about 3 years ago, and I took it to Murph in 2023. Definitely all hush hush, and I know that because it was at the first Rocky Mountain Riprap Festival that I actually found out about this project from Dutch Dude, who is the main designer of the Zero G Mercury. And so him and Turtle Crawler were working on doing a full frame replacement build, which is what Nebula turned into. So this frame is literally a precursor to Nebula. And in this case, it is 100% Misumi cut extrusion with, I did all the blind joint and other holes myself. Added a few that weren't on the plans, because that's what we do occasionally. Let me check out Dale and Da Vinci 1K touches. Nice. You finished your Unimog last night? Awesome, Jim. How's it running? How do you like it? What's going to be the easiest way? I think we'll just take the door off the hinges and leave the hinges on there. Those are put on with button head screws, so we'll just take the button heads off. The other thing I might do here is I have a Nevermore in here, and I do have a bento box kit. So I may swap the Nevermore for a bento box, but I haven't 100% decided just yet. So we'll have to see. Lose the screw. These, I believe, yes, are on with tape. Hopefully I can get said tape off. We'll do that off stream. We'll do that when we go to put it back together. Now, my PTFE tube, I actually ran this through the rear, directly through the plexiglass, using silicone pass-through, silicone nipple. And so this worked out really, really well, just running the PTFE tube directly through the back. You can sit your spool on top and just run it straight through the back. So you've only done a couple of drives with it. Yep. Back for a bit. All right. You need to adjust your steering trim. It drifts to the, yeah. I haven't even started adjusting my trim. I did notice I have a little bit of wobble in one of the wheels, and I think it's just massaging the wheel on the rim itself. And then, oh, I did find, and you'll get a kick out of this, right? So putting the camper on the trailer, it fully bottoms out the shocks and springs. So if you build the camper, it will, or at least on my unit, it fully depresses the shocks and springs. Now with that said, Jim, did you pull the springs out of the shock and then add shock oil? Because I've seen people leave the springs in. I've seen people take the spring out and put shock oil in like what I did. And then I've seen people leave the spring in, pull it down, add shock oil, seal it up. So I don't know. I had taken my springs out, pulled them fully out, and added the shock oil. So Tinkering Techie, on the bench tonight is my Zero G Mercury 1. This was built about 3 years ago and taken to Midwest Rep Rap Festival after I got permission to show off the fully built piece. This is the Nebula frame as I built it during the beta unit or beta testing. So on this particular one, we actually have these little end pieces that we use to tension. You pull this off, you mount it on here, drive your tension screw in, unscrew your top tower, tension your belts, lock in your top tower, then you unscrew this and mount them on the inside so they're out of the way and you can still close the door so you can do the full frame. But I know on the newer frames it's a little bit different, but this is how we did it originally. And I really like this setup. Right now, I'm just popping the panels off. What I'm deciding to do is, well, not deciding to do, I've had new panels for this for some time. And because the panels that I have on here, I built myself. And let's just say I cut them to exact measurements between the openings in the rail. And I left myself 0 in the way of tolerance. So all of my panels kind of bowed out a little bit. It just didn't look right. And then when it heated up, it exacerbated it. So we've got some new panels. And honestly, I cannot remember if I got clear panels or smoked panels. Either way, if I got smoked panels, I plan on leaving the clear panel on the bottom just because I think it's nicer to show the electronics on these when you have the electronics facing up. And I was debating, you know, do I basically tear this down to the base and redo all of the bed mounts, because I have another set of the metal bed mounts, another full set of all metal gantry parts. It would just require me to basically tear this printer completely down and start over again, which I don't have a problem with. What I have a problem with is just time and time management, right? So I've still got 2 customer printers over here that I have to do maintenance on. And then we have the Venture XL build that has been ordered and will be coming in at some point. I do want to run the vacuum and vacuum up some of the debris that's in here before I pop the top off. So. Hey, Eagle Dragon, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, buddy. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Is I think I've talked myself out of doing any major revision work here, because if I go to do the other work on here, then I'm going to put it to 9mm belts, which is definitely a full top end overhaul on this. And also, I'm trying not to have to tear into it too much. At best, yeah, I'm going to look into, can we redo the tool head? Right now, this tool head is CAN bus. And whether we keep it CAN bus or switch it to something else, I at least want to probably look into doing a revised and updated tool head build on here, because looking at this, we've got the orbiter with the orbiter sensor, which I like. It's not the latest orbiter sensor, which is fine, but we're running a Revo, which there's nothing wrong with the Revo. It's just the E3D Revos max out at 12 millimeters cubed per second. I've got plenty of hot ends. I keep trying to look over here because that's where we had it. It's now over there. We've got plenty of hot ends to choose from to put in here. So I think we're just going to redo the hot end portion and go that route. Just try and put something new on it. Maybe get rid of the BL Touch and go with a cartographer probe or something like that. But we'll have to take a look and see what options we have for that. So what I'm going to do real fast is I'm going to mute the mic, and I'm going to grab the shop vac and just vacuum the debris up that's in the bottom of the printer, and then I'll jump back over here and we'll chat a little bit more. So give me 1 second here. So I kept forgetting that these are on there just with magnets, and I think I sucked 2 of them into the bottom. So we will have to go spelunking for those. Now, in this particular build, sorry about that. Down here. Luckily, that had been cleaned out relatively recently. We got our pieces. So once again, on this build, hey, Maker Viking, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. And let me try and scoot this in a little closer. And then we'll adjust the camera a bit. I'll bring you all in a little bit closer. There we go. Okay. So once again, I like that the lower panel can come out, makes life a lot easier to work on things. Everything is facing up, which makes it easier. We have a 350 watt, 24 volt Meanwell UHP power supply. We've got an SSR, and this feeds into the bed, which is a mains heated Keenovo bed. Swap it for a high flow Revel. Yeah, I did think about that. And I think I do have a high flow setup possibly at the house. I'll have to double check. If I can find that, maybe that's just the quick and easy down and dirty way of getting this thing up and running again. You're keeping busy with Tinker Atlas, CinderCAD, and Broker Sculpt. Okay. I'm doing pretty good, Maker Viking. Crazy couple of days, and I mean, I'm sitting here having meetings for the other job up until 6:30 the last couple of nights, so I just needed to stream tonight to clear my head a little bit. And that's another reason why we're not going to get too crazy into some things here. This particular build is running a Big Tree Tech. This is the Manta M8P. We're 2, 4, 5 of the 8 is all we're running. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with the tool head running off the tool head board, of course. These are standard LDO motors, Boron motors. Actually, they actually had the Boron logo on them. So they're standard Boron motors. We are running a what are those? E2C, U2C, the Big Tree Tech U2C, USB to CAN converter. And I know you can run CAN bus on these going through the RJ45 jack. It's just a little bit easier to do that. Since this is running a CB1 module, we can't run a standard touchscreen, so the touchscreen down here is an HDMI screen. I am successfully blocking the airflow of that fan with this USB plug. See if I can't move that around a bit. Oh well. But yeah, pretty decent setup. It works really well. Like I said, it has not been on for quite some time, so we will need to turn it on at some point and update it. Also, we've got a USB cable that snakes up here to a IR camera. This is not a Luke's Lab Nocturne, but it is very similar. It is an IR camera, which is nice because I can run this thing at the middle of the night. I have no lights in here, and I can keep an eye on it. So that's always fun. Oh, I hope not down under Maker. Hey, Daisy Art, how's it going? So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty basic setup. This is one of my, I think, decently clean wiring jobs. So my motor wires come down, go into clips along this back cross member. The end stop here comes around as well. The umbilical all comes down and runs right down along the back side of this upright and goes under the bottom deck panel here. And then I route everything up underneath the sides and bring it in when it needs to come over. So all of the main wiring is running down the sides of the printer, which just makes it look cleaner up here. The only is this one, which was the bed thermistor. And the only reason it didn't come down and around a little bit nicer was because I didn't want to extend it. That was it. I got lazy. I just didn't extend that wire. So I think what I'm going to do is set this back in here just for minor safety sakes. You know, why have set that in there. And I'll go ahead and grab a power supply, or not a power supply, but a power cord. And we'll go ahead and turn this on and take a look at it. Power cord, power cord. Where's my long power cord? Over here, over there. Which one do I want to use? Do this one. We'll bring that there. And we'll grab this. So yeah, at some point in the not too distant future, we should hopefully have the FiSec coming in. We will have a Creator 5 here by the weekend, provided UPS does not lose their way between the port and the shop. So I've now jumped sort of over here to the main workbench. I just want to see, come on up. Clip, there's Clipper. There's Clipper, whoops. And now, more, where's networking? Network. We're going to grab our DD3D printer network. See if we can't get this on the standard network that we use here. DB1 is working slow. All right, connected, and we got an IP address. There we go. Oy. Now let's see where we're at in the grand scheme of things. Browser window. Hey, look at that. Camera's working, everything's still working. I love when things like that happen. Love when things like that happen. So let's take a look at the machine here and just say check for updates and see what it comes up with. You can see this is a 2023 on a lot of things here, so this has not been touched in quite some time. But I did kind of like this scheme. It was a pretty nice bright blue and the sparkle dark gray. It came out and looked pretty good. Oof. Sitting here looking at this and watching how it's running. I'm at the, what do I have here as far as different types of CB modules? Do I have a CB2? I do. I have a couple of CB2s actually. CB1 with the eMMC, CB1 v2.2, CB2 v1s. So I do have a couple of CB2s. I may actually have a compute module as well. I'm just looking at how fast this is going, and it will probably annoy me. In a meeting right now with an AirPod in so I can hear, and just told the facilitator I'm you're lagging professional development hours during the meeting. They nodded approvingly so I can chat too. There you go. Now, I am going to call BS here. Let me flip this to a different way and I'll show you why. System OS packages up to date. Zero chance that it is up to date on Linux patches. You'll take one of the CB2s if you don't want it. Oh, Mad Dog Jeff, there's a reason I have them over there. I always just get a bunch of them. But yeah, the CB, so if I go to a CB2, then I would be able to get rid of the HDMI and put a standard DSi display in there, which would be a lot nicer. If I was going to do that, I would probably just throw a standard compute module in there. Yeah, it's definitely better in a CB1, but I like the fact that it comes up and says there are no system updates required. I seriously doubt that. See about doing a putty session. Yes, accept, whatever. Hey, look at that. It's not the standard default. Oh, that's going to hurt. Oof to me. Oh, you know what? Hey, Bearded Printer, how's it going? Maybe that Linux version went into archive version and the original URL is gone. Could be. And then I think I just realized what the issue is here, which was not to do something dumb like what I just did. I think the user is not Hi, I think it's BQ. There we go. That makes sense. Big Tree Tech CB1. Let's do an apt update here. While it thinks, I will be right back. And grab another cold snack here. Yeah, no, it was, the user is BQ, but the password is my standard password. And I normally change that when I go to shows unless it is like a printer that I'm taking to somebody. Let me see what sudo apt upgrade says. I think, yeah, see there's plenty of things to update here. Don't know why the interface didn't come up with it. But yeah, at a very minimum, we need to update this. We'll go ahead and get it running and make sure that everything is still working on it before we do anything to it. I mean, we know that it's camera's functioning and things like that. But mechanically, just want to make sure it's still in good working order. Probably while this is running, I will go and grab one of our oil sticks, put a little bit of oil on things. Also unit. I hate when people move things on me. Don't tell me where they put them. And by the way, really like the oil sticks. They work out very, very well. being able to get in and just put some lubrication on your rails and your linear rods. It will work on your lead screws as well. We're using them in all of our maintenance activities here at the shop. And we're going to start carrying them as well. We're going to create little maintenance kits, and this will be one of the things that's in the maintenance kit. And I know that these have wipers on our carriages, and I also know that I have grease in these carriages. What I'm more concerned about here is just making sure that I don't start getting any corrosion on my linear rails. Especially on high surface or high I was going to say almost like traffic areas, but on high contact surfaces where the bearings are running. So we'll get in there a little more as we go through. But like I said, we're going to start carrying the oil sticks. Hey Liz, how's it going? See, that's the nice thing with the oil stick. You don't need the gloves. But I promise you, we will have a printer build coming up soon, and we will be doing some greasing and glove work. How's it going, Alex? You're debating a guy in YouTube comments on another video. As long as it was a good conversation, you just weren't dealing with a troll. Hey, Kit Skyfire, how are you? Use the same thing for your cuticles? Okay. But yeah, we're in the process. We're going to put together like a basic maintenance kit, and we'll have the oil stick in there. We'll have a no clogger tool in there. We'll have a gear floss, which you can use to really get in and clean your lead screws. So, yeah. Edamame is the new thing. Gotcha. Okay. No, debating e-bike stuff. Okay. So there is a gentleman that comes in here. We actually worked on his folder tech, Michael Lomax, and he is trying to build an e-bike. I don't know if he's going to make it in time to take it up to 3D Printopia. He was supposed to take it last year, and he didn't. But he's actually printing the sides of the e-bike and stuff right now. So this is a Nebula frame. This is an original beta build Nebula frame that I built and took to Midwest Rep Rap Festival 3 years ago. So yeah, this predates any kits. So a lot of the files on here, like for the door closures and stuff like that, are older. So hopefully I don't have to go through and reprint too many parts for the enclosure. But the enclosure that I had on here was previously cut by me. And I mean, I know it's square panels, but even hand cutting square panels, I made them a little bit oversized on accident, so they would bow out. But yes, this is the original Nebula frame. All of the rails are Misumi. I ordered them directly from Misumi. They were cut to length by Misumi, and then I drilled and tapped all of them. And this is, we kind of went over some of the electronics previously, but I will gladly chat about that. We'll jump over there, bring everybody in a little bit closer. So all the motors here are LDO standard motors that we would use on a Voron. Sorry about that. This way I can still see. This particular tool head is, I believe, the EVA 3 style. We have an orbiter with the orbital or the orbiter filament runout sensor. I love this because as soon as it detects filament going in, it runs the macro automatically to load the heats it up, loads it, purges it, the whole 9 yards. When you're done, you simply hit the button and it does the unload macro. So it heats it up, does a little purge, then pulls back real fast and fully pulls out the filament. So I love that. This is a older style. I say older style. It's a Revo hot end, right? Standard Revo. So it's capped around 12 millimeters cubed per second. At a minimum, I can pop in I'm going to double check the heater core on this. Yeah, I think this is a 40-watt heater. Somewhere I did have a high flow heater core. I would need to get a high flow nozzle and be able to run higher flows through this if I wanted to stay in the Revo ecosystem and not have to change anything. It is running a BL Touch, perfectly fine on this size bed. It's not as fast as a cartographer or a beacon, I know that, but it should work perfectly well. I was toying around with the idea of completely rebuilding at least the top end with the all metal kit that I have from Turtle Crawler, but in talking with Evil Diesel, I've kind of talked myself out of it, partly because I have too many other projects. I have a couple of printers in for repairs I'm still working on. Underneath this, we've got something really cool that we'll talk about here in a minute, but electronics-wise, UHP 350-24. It's nice. I really love these, especially on smaller builds because it saves a lot of room. SSR for the mains bed power heating, silicone heater. Big Tree Tech Manta MP8 or M8P with a CB1 module, which is pretty dog slow, by the way. But we'll live with it for now. I do have a couple of other CB1s behind me as well as a CB2, a couple of CB2s. We are running a Big Tree Tech U2C board, so USB to CAN board. And because this is a CB1, this is an HDMI style display over here. We're also rocking an IR camera for the camera in this, and it's done pretty well with the enclosure. We do have a standard Nevermore, small Nevermore over here. I do have a bento box that we can look into putting in here. Don't know, maybe not. But for now, what I wanted to do was just run updates and get this updated. And sorry, I'm going to stand in front of the camera because I completely just jacked up my monitors. Hopefully that's better. But I'll try and scoot you down here a little bit. And you see there's a box underneath here. So this is a spare belt. And then back behind that spare belt is an Ideaformer IR, what is it? IR3 V2 belt printer. So I need to get this one up, running, and just, you know, printing again. And then possibly just mess around with some tool head a little bit later. And I need to get the belt printer built and online so that Mrs. Dragon can start learning belt printing and getting some stuff done for, you know, mass produce some things for a few holidays that are coming up for the store. Hey, Jedi Spidey. Folks, Jedi Spidey is going to be the first, technically he is the first owner of a Creator 5 from the store. Now, whether he's the first one to take it home depends, because he's going to be out of town this weekend and they come in on Friday. So Friday night we will have 4 Creator 5s and 4 Creator 5 Pros. I have 5 and 5 coming in. Spidey's already paid for one, and we're going to put a Creator 5 Pro up in the shop here. Hey, Nemesis Prime, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. You hated your CB1, was way too slow, kept getting timer too close errors with it. So Nemesis, this has been working fine, okay? This is what I will refer to as an older build, right? This is not a new build. This has been here for 3 years, chugging along. We'll see how that holds up. Right now, we just did a full upgrade. I believe what I might want to look at is, do I need to do a full let's see, I might need to do like a full distro upgrade. What is it? Uname. Oh, you got, 5.16.17 kernel. Yeah. We'll probably have to wind up doing a full distro upgrade, which means what I'll need to do is save all of my configs. And remember, folks, normally you can update Moonraker without a problem. You can update things like Crow's Nest without a problem, especially when you are on a CAN bus system. You're going to update Clipper. Please, for the love of God, go read Esoterical's page and say 50 Hail Marys and follow Esoterical's page, and hopefully, because the Esoterical page is the only way I have ever been able to successfully go through a CAN bus upgrade and upgrade the board via CAN bus without having to basically wind up doing a full install from scratch. I hate updating Clipper on anything with multiple toolhead boards or multiple boards. Looking forward to hearing my thoughts on the Creator 5. So here's what I'll tell you on the Creator 5. I'm looking forward to getting it. I didn't actually place the order until I had confirmation from my contacts at FlashForge that they had done both a physical and a software update to fix the issue with the purging right in front of the chamber heater and the blower fan for the chamber heater, right? I will tell you that I know of 2 people in the local area that have gotten Creator 5s and really enjoy them. So I am looking forward to it. I know there's at least one person here that was interested in getting them. I don't know if they went ahead and ordered directly through FlashForge or if they were really waiting for me to get them in or not, but we'll see. I don't think they're going to stay on the shelf that long. Right? Yours was on a bone stock Micron, no bells, no whistles. Only thing it had was an EBB 36 tool head board. Yeah. Distro upgrade is crazy risky. Better to use the Armbian image from the website. Yeah. So I tend not to update everything. I tend to just focus on system OS updates. But I'm also a cyber guy, so that's the one thing I do tend to routinely go around my printers and do. And this printer has been offline for quite a while. So that's why the first thing I did when I brought it up on the network was go in and start running system updates. Like I said, I will update mainsail and everything. Normally, I will update everything but Clipper. Unless there is something in Clipper that is dire need, I don't update Clipper. You can't even get the correct printer config. Yeah, and at one point I had most of my printer configs backing up to GitHub, and then I don't know, I stopped. I should probably do that again. Or at the very least, just what I'm going to do here is just do a straight download of the entire config and store it offline. Because I will say this is a bit messy, right? I'm looking here and I'm seeing the adaptive mesh. I do see the auto commit shell script here, so it was set up at one point. I'm not sure if it has a correct key that will even get back up to my GitHub repo. Yeah, I'm just adaptive mesh, line purge. There's some older stuff here. But like you said, if it works, it works. You know? I will say I still need to get the tool changer going. And I would really like to get the tool changer going, and that way I can compare and contrast things like the black box, the Draft Shift Design Voron Stealth Changer, and the Creator 5. Maybe. I really don't want to buy a U1, but I might see if Ecovate 3D will let me borrow a U1 just to do a compare and contrast. Because I never did get to play around with the U1 when they had it pre-release. Yeah. And for the most part, like adaptive mesh and line purge, they don't. I copy them routinely between machines. There's nothing special to either one of those. So it's just if you're calling it or not. And I know they've been merged into main Clipper now. So if you do update Clipper, you should be able to reconfigure and move away from adaptive mesh and line purge. At a very minimum, just comment them out of your config and run them live through main the main clipper. Yeah, and I know distro upgrade is crazy risky. What is it? It's sudo apt full upgrade does a full upgrade, but it's not updating from like Buster to Bookworm or up to the next one, right? It still keeps you on the same main release, but it just does a full upgrade at that main release level. You have UCAM set up, and it is basically a one-click process. UCAM or Ukiah? Ukiah? No, Kaya. Yeah, in fact, I'm not even sure Crow's Nest is even required too much anymore. But yeah, let's just take a look. Yep, there we go. So we got our camera back. So everything's still up and running. Let's see if the home all works. This is running hard in stops on X and Y. I said BL Touch for Z. And that seems to be working just fine. Detilt. An updated guide to making the printer config for current Clipper. I'll tell you this. I mean, this is basically, Steve will kill me, but this is basically a Voron Trident, right? And so I've literally, I had a 0G Mercury Inter 5 Plus size. I basically copied that same config over and just changed, you know, the size parameters basically. A lot of times I will literally start with a Voron 2.4 or Trident config for just about every printer and go from there. The Rat Rig, I will tell you, the Rat OS is Mint. That is a wonderful tool. You can use it to do various other printers like Vorons. They actually have those configs pre-built in. And it is a wonderful tool to use. Boom, how's that? One run, and with a BL Touch, we're sitting here on our probe point. The spread is 0.003438, or 0.003438 for those people that speak weird languages. So yeah, it looks like everything's still running on her. Let's take a look at the, wow, words. Words are becoming hard. Let me look at the panel kits that I got. That's the word I was looking for. And see, because this is built off of a beta version of the frame, And all of these printed parts that are on here are 3 years old, right? They're not the latest and greatest versions of any of the printed parts you can get off of the site today. So I'm not sure 100% if like the parts I have for the doors will actually work with the cut door panel on this. Just don't know. That's something that's, in fact, probably the first thing I'm going to look at is to see if the door panel will even work on this, or if I'm going to, at a minimum, have to print door panels. So bottom plate and that plate. Actually, that's the top plate. This is the bottom plate. This is the door. So it looks like, I wonder, that will fit, that will fit. Yeah, I might have to do a couple, Yeah, I might have to redo door panels, or yeah, door clips and stuff. So I'll have to take a look at that and see. Let's see, do we have 0G? Zero-G GitHub. Is it, I'm trying to remember from when I did my Nebula. There we go. Nebula will be the frame system. Doors would be the Nebula 250. 340 mount left, right, inside frame. I'll have to take a look at that. Was there a... Nebula door panel, single piece. The hinges have changed a little bit. I don't think they've changed enough. I believe all of the holes are still lining up for the door hinge. Yeah, I believe they do. I'll try and install that a little bit later and just see if it hangs on the hinges right and will still close. Bottom 2040 door catch. That looks exactly like what I have. The upper frame door catch. So these will be new pieces that I'll need to print. This will be different from the door that I used. And magnet, that's the same. This will be different, so I'll have to print new door handle possibly. Hey, Cruising Girl, thanks for the lurk and welcome in. Yeah, I think it's going to be relatively simple. And I'll double check with Magenta Rising, which is at the house still. Once again, this piece is in the bottom right corner, and that one is installed. 3 10x2 magnets. Yeah, and I think they install into both upper inside corners of the frame with the magnet facing towards the M3 T-nut. For some reason, I feel, yeah, I think that we need to build more than just the one that I have right now. So we'll have to look into that. Hey, Jeff Prince, how's it going? We're doing good. How are you doing? How are you doing? Welcome on in. I hope you're having a great day. So we're just taking a look. So this, what we're seeing here, let me change the view. So this is a 0G Mercury 1. This is the 255 size. So the Ender 5 Pro conversion. In this case, yeah, there's nothing really Ender 5 Pro about this other than the size of the bed. So this is the Nebula frame, but this is a pre-production version of the Nebula frame. This was done in beta testing. Some things have changed since I ran this. The whole door has changed, and that's what I was just looking at is I think my door hinges will still work with the new frame. So I think everything does line up on the door hinges. Yeah, the hinges should still work. Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to double check. But I may wind up having to reprint the majority of the stuff here for the front. I think this is still basically the same. This is, I believe, still the same, but we'll have to double check. And when I say double check, I have built the larger size, the Ender 5 Plus size, and I have it at the house using one of the production LDO kits. So what I'm going to do, two things, is tonight when I go home, I'll double check all of the door fittings and see what I need to actually reprint. And then hopefully I have that sparkle dark gray. If not, it might just, yeah, I'll have to see if I've got the filaments to reprint those door pieces. If not, I may have to repurchase them. The printer itself is up and operational. It's been just sitting around for at least a year. So we did just do system updates to it. I'm debating whether I even want to change the tool head up now. Right? I was debating. It's got a Voron Revo tool head. I'm not sure if I'm even going to bother replacing it. I was thinking in just conversations as we've been talking tonight with Down Under Maker, like, you know, he made the suggestion of changing to the high flow heater core and a high flow nozzle. And I know I had a high flow heater core and nozzle set up. I'm trying to think if I gave it to somebody or if it's sitting at the house. If it is at the house, maybe we'll bring it in and just do a 1-for-1 swap on this tool head. Relatively easy to do. But on this size, I really don't think the time saving of changing from the BL Touch is really anything to really do. Really, the issue I was having that brought this on is I did buy the kit because my original door, I try and take myself out here. My original door, I don't know if this shows up on screen, is crazing really bad. In fact, let me do this, and that should maybe hopefully show. See how crazed that is? Right? This is from heat and cold cycles, and I believe IPA fumes, right? Because this is not cast, which is what we usually use for our panels. This is extruded. And so, yeah, this is, I'll say, a crappy door panel. But lining them up, holes for the hinges are lining up. The door latching mechanism, little bit off, so I'll have to print that. And then at least the 4 corner pieces are actually, you know, they replaced with printed pieces. So we should have magnet here, here. We have the magnet here. This corner piece would be different in the latest version of the files. So I probably won't put a magnet here. And we'll just run the 1, 2, and 3 magnets. And we'll make it suffice. But yeah, I would try and get this up in printing tonight. But in order to do that, I'll have to put my back panel back on, because in this particular case, I want to say in the new one, one of the top corners has a pass-through for the PTFE tube. And what I had done on my original panel, and I may do it on this one, is I drilled a hole in this back panel and just used a silicone plug. So you push the silicone plug through, and that makes it airtight, and you can just run your 4mm PTFE tube right through the back. And that worked out really well. So I liked that idea. I may redo this and just drill a hole in the back panel of the new one. And looking at this, the new front door panel is clear, and all of the other panels are smoked from the looks of them. So this will darken everything up, but so be it. I'm fine with it. But yeah, I think, quite honestly, I'm a bit tired. I really appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out tonight, so we can chit chat some. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to change much on this, honestly. The more I think about it, and just once again, thinking about what's going on with my main job, right? So we've had a lot going on with the main job, with a couple of major initiatives and a security thing that we're dealing with right now that I'm having to deal with. It's taking up a lot of time, plus running the shop, plus some other things going on in the background that personal stuff that I don't want to divulge. Like Nemesis said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This showcased the Nebula frame a couple of years before it actually came to fruition, right? And understandable, yeah. And I think we're just going to do the panels, and we'll do the minimal replacements that we need to do to get the panels back on there. We had like I said, we had the Ideaformer IR3V2 belt printer sitting underneath this table that we need to put together. We'll try and get that done on the next stream. Saturday will be the stream for unboxing and setting up the Creator 5 Pro version that we're going to put on display here in the store. And then, yeah, hopefully not too far in the distant future, we will have what that rolling table was actually built for, which is the FISEC Venture XL. Now, the FISEC Venture XL, and sorry, I am going to check my phone real fast just to check. Okay. I'm just checking real fast to see if there was anything that I need to account for Thursday. And no, there's nothing that's going to block Thursday stream at the moment. Okay. Next week, Tuesday stream next week will definitely not happen. Okay. Tuesday and Wednesday, I have to go into the physical office for not meetings, but a conference. And that Wednesday, I want to say there's supposed to be a thing going until like 8:30 at night that I'm a part of. So yeah, mandatory fun. Gotta love it. Don't apologize for being tired. We all get that. We all get there. Your issue is sleep. You just don't get enough. Yep. Only fix it if there are major upsides. Yeah. Yeah, one of the major initiatives we'll say is along the lines of penetration testing. Yeah, like I said, just a lot there. That's been keeping stuff busy. And yeah, I'm just tired. There's a lot of things, a lot of irons in the fire. On top of that, I'm taking a course through Cornell University right now on generative and agentic AI. Yeah. Don't ask me why I signed up for it. But Yeah, just a lot of stuff coming together. The streams, when we can do them over the next couple of weeks, are probably going to be shorter. I'm going to time bound them, because if I don't, you know me, I will sit here till midnight if you guys let me. And I don't need to, so please don't let me. We'll keep them short, we'll keep them sweet until the Venture XL gets here. When the Venture XL gets here, folks, that is not a stream build per se. We will stream it. I will try and maybe I'll just throw a camera up and not be doing live chat, but just have the camera going as I put that one together. That is a shop printer. Okay? That's not a content build per se. That is a build that we need to get up and running for some shop customer prints. We've had to turn a couple of jobs away because we didn't have a printer big enough. So my goal is to get that one built. I will tell you right now, it will not be built stock. Okay. We're going to put the Kraken in it, and we're going to update the electronics, and we're going to update and run a different tool head. We will not run the stock tool head. We will not run stock electronics. We will run stock motors. I'm going to get with Hector, because he still owes me information on the one that they built custom with the chamber heaters. So I need to get that information from him. And we're going to make that work and make it reliable. Okay? Video montage build? Maybe, or like I said, I'll just have a camera going. I won't even mic up. We'll just have a camera going. Yes, Maker Meetup is still going to be held on the first Sunday. That is not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. I think it winds up being, what is it, like the 8th? No, 6th. Yes, so Sunday, September 6th, I know that is Labor Day weekend. I'm fine with that. I actually hope certain things come in so that I have the long weekend to work on them. Yeah, we're gonna, you know, we will be doing Maker Meetup that day. So yes, Excel needs a lot of mods to be actually good. Have a chat with Esoterical about what he did to his to make it properly. Yes, him, LTX. I know Hector's done, Hector with Fabrico has done a lot. I know that out of the box, the Venture XL, like any large non-commercial / industrial printer, has issues, right? Orange Storm Giga, 800 by 800 by a meter, has issues. 600 by 600 has issues. Whether it's the Venture XL or the Phoenix. There's a reason the Phoenix hadn't been fully released after it's been displayed for, what, a couple of years. There's some issues. I know that. We've got to do some things to get it there. Yeah, the wiring, and that's the thing. I plan on doing non-standard boards in it, which will force me to redo wiring. I mean, motor wiring is motor wiring, right? But beyond that, yes, I will be, quote unquote, render safe, make good, right? Yeah, the gantry expansion issues when heated, that is something we'll have to look into. And yeah, I understand that, Nemesis. So that is stuff that we'll do, and we'll look at running stuff. We will run as many tests as we can on it before we start putting production jobs on it. But I was looking and so look at this as my big printer gateway drug, okay? We're going to use this to start getting into some of the bigger print jobs and getting those done. And that will eventually allow us to do things like a Modix Big 60 or, you know, a Mingda or something along that lines. The problem is once you start getting into those, you start looking at dedicated circuits and in some cases 220 versus 110. And I know that sounds strange to you, Down Under Maker, but you know, we have 110 over here for a lot of things. And yes, it's money. God's honest truth. $2 grand for the printer. All of the upgrades I'm looking at doing to that tool head and the electronics are already sitting over here. I've had stuff sitting over here waiting for a larger printer project. So I've got the Kraken. I've got whether it's a Mosquito Magnum or a Tube or whatever, I've already got that, right? So that's not going to be another major expense. But what we'll be looking at is probably not using any of the FiSec boards and electronics that come with it. We'll do that, but Amanda keep emailing me with offers of printers, but they wanted me to do positive showcases. Well, yeah, and mind you, okay, if you have not, go look at Contrived Designs, okay? Before I bring it up, I want to make sure that I'm going to the right page. Bear with me for a moment. Maybe if I go here, it'll have a link to their main website. I know they do a bunch on Instagram. Not getting emails from them, but I don't have those set up over here. Sorry, folks. Bear with me.
You should be paying attention to print stability. Here's how.
Try design innovation. There we go. Well, maybe that is. Yes, that is them. Okay, so Contrived Design Innovations. I believe they're in Washington, and they've been doing, I've been watching a lot of their videos. They're doing a lot of stuff for motorsport and water sport stuff, right? Doing a lot of stuff with the 22 IDEX V4s, and they are now moving into the Mingda large format printers. So they were doing so much production work on the 22 IDEX that they've stepped up to the Mingda in order to be able to do more items in one go. And they're doing a lot of things in PPSCF, whether it's air intakes or brake dust guards. Some other things they're starting to do. I believe they're large ASA CF right. Brain's not braining right now, but they're starting to bring in a lot of the Mingda large format printers, and you know, I've been watching a lot of their stuff, and what they're doing aligns a lot with some of the work that Digital Dragon 3D can get into based on certain agencies and other contracting companies in our area. I'll kind of put it that way. We're in Sanford, North Carolina. We're about 45 minutes away from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Do some Google searches and you'll get where I'm going. So we need to start building up. We catch one or two good contracts and do some good work there, and it's going to lead into some other things. Doing positive showcases, no. I am not looking for free printers. I'm looking to build a printer that will allow us to do some other jobs, get those done, that will then feed in revenue to expanding into other realms where I will need some larger format printers in the $10,000 plus range, right? I just can't, I don't have the work to justify that right now, so we're gonna have to work our way into it. Hey Timor, how's it going? You were watching on the big screen TV, which keeps you very quiet. Gotcha. I understand that. But yeah, things like the Mingdas and some of the others are just big money. And not just big money from an outlay of getting the printer, but also power requirements, space requirements. You know, I can do the Venture XL and still keep it at the 110 wattage. When need be, I can move that up to 220 in various ways, right? Without spending too much. And then that gateways into being able to bring some of the bigger stuff in. But yeah, we're building, right? We're building. We've only been here a year and things are building up. This month has been gangbusters so far, so hopefully that continues to build and we're able to do things smartly and move up without putting ourselves into a bind and having to downscale very quickly. Because that leads to bad outcomes. We don't want those. So we've chatted and I've gabbed for a while longer. I'm actually going to call the stream, call it quits. I believe I saw that Big Jano has started. So for the folks over there in Twitch land, I'm going to try and see if I can remember how to raid. See if I can remember. Yes, looks like I did get a, did I? Yes, got a raid set up. So folks over in Twitch land, we're going to raid over to Big Jano. Folks in YouTube, sorry, we're just going to call it a day over there. I'm not to the level where I can start jumping and raiding folks over there. But thank you everybody for being here. My name's Digital Dragon, otherwise known as Luke. Thank you for being here and spending some time in the Dragon Den. If you're in the Sanford, North Carolina or Raleigh, North Carolina area, please feel free to stop by the store We're at 152 North Steele Street, and Steele Street in Sanford, North Carolina. We'd love to have you stop by and say hi. But with that said, everybody have a great night. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you on Thursday night. And we should be, maybe we'll be printing with this, but we'll hopefully be building the Ideaformer IR3V2 then. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Bye now.